so I don't forget that. This is the Poof wreath using Dollar Tree striped mesh. It's a little bit kind of a different type of a poof wreath. We did one before. I hate the way the reflection shows on my glasses. We did that one before over the summer. It was a July 4th or patriotic wreath, and it was the same exact style. You make poofs, but you just kind of squish them together a little bit tighter. But we used 21-inch mesh for that. And Cindy Austin, who was a member here, I can't see a thing. Cindy Austin, who was a member here, decided to make one with Dollar Tree mesh. And that's actually her wreath that is in the class listing, because I have not tried this method yet with Dollar Tree mesh. But it's pretty much the same as what we did with the other one. And that one was really popular. So let me go ahead. And like I said, Elaine, normally what I do is I mute everybody at the beginning of a class. I have the capability to mute everybody here. So it's important that you know where your unmute button is in case you have a question. So are you using an iPad, or are you viewing this on the phone or laptop?
On the phone.
On your phone. So all you're going to want to do is tap your screen and your controls will come up. Like you know how to do that because you turned your video on. And you can just unmute yourself if you have a question. And don't feel bad. Just say, Christina, can you show me that again? Or can you slow down? And what did you do there? I mean, that's why I like doing classes like this, because instead of Facebook Lives, people can just talk and chat and ask questions out loud. And it just makes it a lot easier. So, but I usually, I mute everybody at the beginning of the call just to cut down on background noise. And what I'm doing now is just moving my laptop over to my craft table and plugging my other camera in, so you guys can see what I'm doing. You don't get to see my face anymore. Sorry about that, but it isn't that great of a loss, in my opinion. Look how clear that is. I got a new camera, you guys. I didn't get a Mevo yet, but I did get a new camera, and it is a lot more clear, I think. And I'm very excited to say I'm getting a new craft table soon. No more of this tiny craft table. I have a friend of mine who's a woodworker, and we went out to lunch a couple weekends ago I know his wife really, but he's a woodworker, and I told him, I said, I need a bigger table. This table just is not big enough. It's wide enough, it just needs to be longer. So he's actually making me a custom-made table, and I'm so excited about that. His wife just messaged me today. I'm so excited to be getting a new table, and I'll have more room. So excited. Okay. I thought I had 8 rolls of this mesh, but I only have 7. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have enough. But if we don't, then I'll just have to fill in the spot that I missed. But I'm pretty sure we're going to have enough. This is a 14-inch wreath frame from the Dollar Tree. I didn't mute anybody because there really isn't a lot of background noise. 14.5 inches. You can also use a 12-inch. The 12-inch they sell at Dollar General. And this is actually some striped mesh that the Dollar Tree had this year. It almost looks like kind of candy corn colors. And you can use any Dollar Tree mesh. It doesn't have to be the striped. The reason why this method that we're doing tonight is great for this mesh is because I've used the striped mesh before. I think I used it at Easter time. And for some reason, this mesh frays like crazy when you cut it. Not all Dollar Tree mesh frays like crazy, but the striped mesh does. I've made spiral wreaths using Dollar Tree mesh and cut it with the wood burning tool, and it's been just fine. So, but this mesh for some reason really is bad when you cut it. So this is the perfect method to use with this style because we're not going to cut it at all. No cutting at all. So let me just kind of move that out of the way. You can see why I need more room here. And the reason why I have my cutting mat out, I finally got a new cutting mat too. It's a lot bigger than the one I had before. And I have my little sign here. I actually had this sign. I know you're probably going to ask me where I got it, but I really can't remember. I had it from last year. I want to say maybe Big Lots, maybe. I don't really remember, but I found it when I was looking through my stuff, and I saw that it had like a little candy corn on it, and I thought that might be cute to throw on here. This method, you don't really want to put a lot of stuff. Maybe a bow, a little sign. This type of a wreath with this method really isn't designed to put the ribbon tails like you see in like a ruffle wreath or you know, a typical poof wreath where the poofs are bigger. You can do it if you want to, but it just, you know, maybe a bow, less is more in this type of a wreath, especially when you have a mesh that's really pretty and really colorful. You don't want to cover it up too much.
You know, I was planning on stopping after I finished my early childhood development assignment, which I did.
To me?
But fucking that assignment took like 2 hours to finish because it was a writing assignment, and I had to watch videos on top of it.
Who is that talking, please? I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. Hello?
Yeah, I didn't sleep at 2 a.m.
Hello? I'm not sure if you were talking to me or talking to somebody else. I'm just going to go ahead and mute everybody. Hi, Sandra. Sandra made it in. Oops, my calendar just popped up.
Hi. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you now because I just said
Oh,
something
you
to
can?
you. I can hear
I
you.
made it.
I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody unless you guys have questions, just to kind of cut down on the background noise a little bit. If I can get this button to work here. Let's see. There we go. I remember one time, I don't know what it was, like maybe 6, 7 months ago, I had a class. I just love how clear this camera is. Look how clear that is. Let me move this bag out of the way because it's bothering me. This is my witch kit, actually. I still haven't even unpacked it. There's a little button that I have to check, a little box that when I mute everybody, it says, give everyone the capability to unmute themselves. I forgot to check it, and so one of my members was like waving, hey, we can't unmute ourselves. So I was just chatting away for maybe like 20, 30 minutes or whatever, and nobody could ask me questions because I forgot to check that box. So now, typically when you do a mesh wreath, you use pipe cleaners. You can use pipe cleaners with this. If I can get this open here. But I kind of like using zip ties only because they just hold better and they don't really slide as much. Just for this style, I like using the zip ties. Everything else I use pipe cleaners for. What did we use zip ties for the other day? Did we just make a wreath the other day? We used zip ties. Was it the flower one? I think it was the mesh flower that we used the zip ties. Yeah. The one that's behind me, you probably can't see it right now. Okay, now whenever I do a poof wreath or a pull through ruffle wreath, I always start by just gathering a little bit on the end. I really shouldn't have this here because you really can't see, but this table is just really crappy. I was trying to cover that up so you couldn't see that. I would just kind of grab a little bit on the end just to make sure that you have a little piece there that you can secure. Now, when we come around to the other side of the wreath, I'm going to take it off. I'm going to undo it because it kind of gets in the way, this little piece. But let's wait and see how that goes. We're going to actually be using the 2 outside bars and the 2 inside bars. We're going to be doing 2 rows of poofs. So let's go ahead and start on the outside. These are little 4-inch zip ties that I got from, actually I paid way too much for these from Lowe's because Walmart was out. You can usually get a pack of these from Walmart for like $1.27, these little 4-inch zip ties. And they're clear, so you can't really see them when you're zip tying your mesh. So just go ahead, and this wreath form is bent a little bit, but it's really not going to matter. I'm going to start at one of the crossbars here and just kind of go underneath with this little lip here. Just kind of go underneath the crossbar and zip tie it in place right to the crossbar. I think I'm going to move this mat though because it's like distracting, the lines and everything. I don't like it. I'm not used to having the mat on the table. I never have my mat on my table. I don't know why I decided to put it here now, because I think it's brand new and I think it's nice because it's new and I wanted to show it off. But it is a little bit distracting, so I'm going to move that. And don't look at my messy table. I'm going to be getting a new table soon. But the mat is so much bigger than the one I used to have, which is this little teeny one. I've been using this one for like a year, this little tiny one. Okay. So we have it zip tied underneath. Let me know if I'm going to go too fast here. I can slow down. So we have it. I'm going to cut that off. Hold on one second. Where's my snippers? If your mesh falls on the floor like mine just did, just let it fall. It'll get it out of the way. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to pull this up through. Look how that automatically refocuses. Oh, did you guys see that? Was that exciting? It just refocused all by itself. I love this new camera. Okay, so we're going to pull this piece up. After we zip tie it, we're going to pull up a little piece right up in between these first two bars here. Okay, that's all I did, was I just pulled it right up in between. Okay, so I have a little poof. Now, you might want to have your measuring mat handy just until you get used to the size that you want to have, because we're going to do 8-inch poofs, okay? So just sort of grab your mesh like this. Try to get your ends tucked under if you can. If you can't, it's not a big deal, but it just makes it a little more smooth looking. And just pull it like that on your measuring mat and get 8 inches here, okay? And all we're going to do is just poof it up like that. You don't have to fix it until you attach it. Once you attach it, then you can fix it. If you want to use a half a pipe cleaner instead, that's fine. So you have your little poof here. I'm just going to grab it, and I'm going to zip tie it right around the two outside bars, okay? You can see that. Hold on. I'm trying to look at the... So we're going to zip tie it right around the two outside bars. Or use a pipe cleaner, half a pipe cleaner. And I'm going to flip it over. See, this little lip is already getting in my way here. This little extra piece. Now, don't zip tie it too tight just yet, because you're going to want to make sure that your poof is pulled out a little bit like that, okay? I want to get my pliers in here, or no? Because I like to make it really tight with my pliers, even though you don't have to do that. Hold on a second. Oh, it picks your legs. Oh, I'm just getting something. I don't want the legs like that. Okay. You don't have to do this, like I said, but I like to just, when I do a zip tie, just pull it with my pliers to make sure it's nice and tight. You can kind of pull it tighter with your hand, or excuse me, with the pliers than with your hand. Okay. Now you can squish that over, push it over as far as it goes. These are going to be really tight. These are tight, small, flat poofs. They're not going to be big poofs. They're going to be like flat and squished together. Snip that off. Now I'm probably going to do it like 9 of these per section. So you can see how that looks. There's one poof there. I pushed it all the way over. Once you zip tie it or you use a pipe cleaner, You're going to push it all the way over, and it looks kind of weird right now, but when we get a lot more in there, oh, this is kind of bugging me, this little lip here. All right, so just go ahead and pull another section through. Just keep doing the same thing. You can probably start to eyeball it, but if you feel better with getting your measuring mat out and measuring it each time, you know, you want to do 8 inches. It might be easier to start from the top instead of pulling it up through. I'm thinking about that now. I don't know why I decided to pull it up through the bottom, but if you'd rather do it, do you follow what I'm saying? If you'd rather have your mesh, maybe I'll just pull it around and start doing it on the top. Instead of pulling it up through, just do your poofs on the top of the wreath form. Do you follow what I'm saying? I don't know why I decided to pull it up through the bottom. I really don't have to do that. It's not a pull through ruffle, it's a poof. I'm just going to flip this one piece around and start going from the top instead of pulling up. Does that make sense? Measure out 8 inches. Maybe I'll even redo that one. You know what? You guys are going to kill me. I'm going to redo this one because I don't really want to pull it through. I want to start at the top. I don't want to go up underneath. Now remember, you guys, this is the first time I've done it with the Dollar Tree mesh. I've done it with 21-inch mesh, but never with Dollar Tree mesh. So let me hold on one second here. Let me. Forgive me, you guys. We're going to start over. This is what happens when you pull your zip tie too tight. And you can't get it off. See? So I'm going to start from the top. If you're doing a pull-through ruffle, then you start from the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and start over again. But we're on top of the wreath frame. I'm not going up underneath. Does that make sense? Sorry about that. Again, this little piece is going to be covered. Don't worry about that. After, you know, we'll figure that out after when we come around the other side. We'll probably have to snip that off, or we'll stick that inside one of the other poofs so you can't see it. Okay. So sorry about that, but what we're going to do, because it's going to be a lot easier, is we're just going to go ahead and do it from the top, not from underneath. All right, so we're on the top. Is everybody with me still? Did I confuse everybody? I'm trying to see who's joined us here. Lisa, Jamie, Elaine. Hey, Connie. I don't know who Elle Stedman is. I'm not sure who that is. That name doesn't look familiar. Are you new here? I'm not sure who that is. I apologize. So 8 inches. We're just going to start over again, but we're going to be on the top. I don't know if Elle Stedman's microphone works or not. I might even stand in a minute here. I'm more comfortable standing than sitting. That's probably why I'm all discombobulated, because I'm sitting. I'm not used to sitting. I want to stand.
You're discombobulated.
Discombobulated. Isn't that your word, Susan?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? I stole your word.
Yeah, I love it.
Susan, what happened with the hurricane? You obviously made it. Just got a lot of rain.
We got some rain. The coast got the worst damage, and we're fine.
That's good.
Leave it
No
with
trees,
all
no trees falling on your house or anything?
Got a few limbs in the yard, but that's all.
I heard a horrible story. I'm not sure where it was. I'm just plugging my battery in, you guys, of a tree that had fallen on a house and killed a woman and her baby. That was really.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that was. Do you know where that was?
I think it was Newbern.
Is that North Carolina?
New Bern in North Carolina. Bless their hearts.
That's sad.
Mm-hmm.
So once you guys get going here, you're probably not going to need your measuring mat anymore because you're going to kind of get used to the size that you need to make these. You know, if it's easier for you to do your poofs around just one wire, you can do that. Let me see. It doesn't seem to be going that bad going around both though. Again, you can also use a half a pipe cleaner too if you want to. What I would do is I would push your poofs together. This is bothering me. I'm gonna have to just guesstimate. Push your poofs together and then you can tighten your zip tie. But honestly, I don't think I really even need to use my pliers. I think it's tight enough without using my pliers. But I'm going to snip as I go along here. Is this making sense to you guys, or did I confuse you by switching there? I just think it's easier to go. And once we add more, these are going to like squish together. But they're just tiny little poofs. That's all it is. And I'm just going to kind of guesstimate. Hold on, let me do this one more time so I can get an idea of how big each poof is going to be. If you want to pull that out every time, you can. We're going to try to get 9 of these poofs in each section. Once you put it on, then you can kind of fluff it out like that. Fluff it out and then push it over. Get it as tight as you can. You can wait and cut all these off after, or if they're in your way, you can cut them off now. They had some other striped mesh there too. It was like a purple, and I thought I had my bag out here. I may have put it away. How you doing, Debbie? Did I confuse you? I know, Debbie, you were waiting for this class because you had all your stuff, you said. Does this make sense, or am I, or no? I lost her. Is she still here? Yeah, she's still here. I'm not sure who that, oh, they're still there. Al Stedman. Can you, is your microphone working? Do you know how to unmute yourself? Let me unmute you.
Can you hear me now?
Who's that, Debbie?
Yeah.
Yeah, is this making sense to you, or did I totally confuse you by switching the way I was doing my poop?
No, you know what? I was doing it that way to start.
Yeah, I'm such an idiot, I swear. I don't know why I was going underneath, because I was thinking like pull through ruffle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With a pull through ruffle, you go underneath. We'll figure out who else Stedman is later. I'm just not sure who that is. But we have so many new members joining like every day. I don't know where everybody's coming from. Lots of new members. And that's a good thing. Hey, Susan, guess what I did like all afternoon today?
What?
Well, for the Happy Harvest kits, I
Yeah.
didn't get individual rolls of ribbon to send everybody. I got these huge spools of ribbon from a friend of mine who has a ribbon shop in California. And I had to measure out everybody's ribbon and individually roll 30 little sections of ribbon for everybody, times 5 different types of ribbon.
Oh,
So
Christine,
that's all I did this afternoon. Was I was rolling ribbon.
tell me I'm in that class.
You are. You got a kit coming.
Okay.
You can see.
Okay.
No, you are. You can see that I just had to roll all the ribbon into little
Oh,
sections.
I love that. I love
And then
that.
there's the other one. There's the polka dot one. The what have you. Everybody's going to get, whoever ordered the kit is going to be getting 2 of the polka dot ones. And it doesn't look like a lot, but there's a lot in here. And then there's this little, the 1.5-inch polka dot one that I told you
Ooh,
guys.
that's pretty.
Too. And the truck ribbon is the only one left that I have to do. So, which is this one, but you can see, look how big this roll is.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I have to like take it all off and cut everybody's ribbon and roll it out.
Oh my word. I love
There's only one
that.
left that I have to do, but
Oh, I love that.
I know I loved it too. Yes, you're getting it. I've got I think your package, your envelope is right on the top over there because I'm sending them in poly mailers because it's less expensive that way.
Yeah.
They're going to be happy when I walk into the post office with 31 packages, that's for sure.
They'll be fine.
Okay, this is all we're doing, ladies. It's making little poofs.
Christina, so if they're tiny little poofs, do you recommend just 6-inch mesh or can you use 10?
You can use 10. I've done this method with 21-inch mesh. If you look back through the class listings, the past events, you'll see there was a poof wreath. It's called the Patriotic Poof Wreath. It's the exact same method, but I use 21-inch mesh. All it really is you just make your poof and you just squish them together. So instead of, this is like hold on a second here. Instead of a bigger poof, your poofs are just tighter and squished together. That's all. That's all it is. You can use 10-inch, you can use 21-inch. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to try to get 9 in this section here. 9 poofs, but they just get really squished together. That's all it is. And it's a nice method to use. It hides your wreath form because you can't see through the mesh because the poofs are so close together. Who just asked me that question? I'm sorry. I didn't recognize your voice.
Elaine,
Elaine,
I just
okay. Sure,
I
no
just did a
problem.
Mickey Mouse one like that using 21-inch, but I didn't know whether it's going to change the look of that flower or not.
The flower?
You know how the flower looks in the picture?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about. What flower? I'm sorry.
The picture for this class.
Oh, yes.
So I just did a Mickey Mouse wreath for my grandson,
Okay.
and I used the 21-inch mesh, but
Okay.
I didn't know whether that would affect the overall look of the wreath or not.
If what would affect it? By using
By using the 21-inch.
With this method, you mean? I'm confused. I'm sorry.
Maybe it's the pattern of the mesh that's making that look really different.
Different than the one you made, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you do poofs or?
I did 9-inch poofs all the way around on a 14-inch frame.
Okay.
In
Why
black.
don't you send me a picture of it later
Okay.
so I could take a look at it? Because I'm just like I'm not following what you're saying, and I'm sorry, it's not your fault. I just can't envision what you're trying to tell me here. Did you do the poofs like close together like this, or were they?
Yeah, I put 7. I put 7 in each one, but
Oh, okay.
when I looked at the picture of this class, it must be the pattern of the mesh that drew me to it.
Yeah. Was it a solid mesh that you used in yours, or was it?
Yeah, it was a solid black.
Yeah, that's definitely going to change the look of
Yeah.
it because of the pattern on here for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we're going to be able to get 3 more on here. Did you use zip ties or did you use pipe cleaners?
I always use zip ties because I have rheumatoid arthritis and
Okay,
it's
right.
easier on my hands.
Yeah, I can see that, the twisting of the pipe cleaner, right?
Yeah, years ago I used them, but now I don't. I just get the zip ties and use them.
Right. I don't know if I think with my other one, with the 21-inch mesh, I didn't wrap it around both wires, but it's a little bit more challenging wrapping around both, but it's working. And then just pull your poof out. You probably should be able to use a roll and a half. I'm gonna hide it with my fan back on. Sorry. You might be able to use a roll for each section. I'm not sure. Let's see how this goes. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's getting all twisty on me here. If it's easier for you just to use the one wire, if you're going to use the one wire, use the inside, the second one from the outside. And then when we go down to do the inside row, we'll use the second one from the inside. So if it's easier for you to wrap around just one instead of both, I think that'll work too. This is where the repetition comes in because we're basically doing the same thing over and over again here. I'm almost up to 9. I'm going to do 9 per section. I think that's going to be a good amount here. This piece is poofing out a little bit more only because it's on the end of the section. There's nothing pressing against it right now. Now, the class that we're doing Wednesday, Elaine, I don't know if you saw the listing for that one, the Jack Skellington wreath. That one we're going to be using 21-inch mesh, and I'm doing poofs with added ruffles. But those poofs will be how you normally see a poof done. 8-inch or 10-inch, I'm not quite sure yet which I'm going to do. But they're going to be bigger because when you do the added ruffles, it fills in any gaps or any, if you have a transparent mesh or a see-through mesh, the added ruffles will help to hide, that. So when I'm doing, a regular poof wreath, I like to add ruffles. There might even be room to add another poof in here. I've got 9 in here now, and let me take a look at it and see. I just don't want to run out of mesh because I thought I had more than 7 rolls of this, but I have exactly 7 rolls. Let me try to scooch these over a little bit here. Because if I was only doing 1 row, I would really want these to be squished together tight, but because we're doing 2 rows, I think 9 is going to be enough. I'm just going to move it over a little bit so they're spaced out a little bit more. When I did the one with the 21-inch mesh, I only did 1 row. because it was 21-inch mesh and it was wider, so it covered more. So that's one section. That's one section on the first 2 bars, okay? And I've got 9 in there. But we're going to be going down and doing another section. We're going to kind of wedge them in between. You'll see when we get there what I mean by that. So it's already taken us 40 minutes and we only got one section done. This might be another one of those classes where we don't finish during class. That happens sometimes. You get a wreath that, you know, is time consuming and involves a lot of folding or et cetera, et cetera. I think my daughter's just getting home. I'm just fixing my laptop here so it doesn't topple over on me. So I'm just going to go ahead and move to the next section now. And I still have a good bit of mesh on here. You might want to go ahead and pull it off now. Be careful of these staples though. If you pull it off too hard or too fast, you've got staples flying everywhere. You don't want that. You don't want to step on a staple later on that you didn't know was there. It's going to hurt. So be careful when you're taking it off your roll. I remember seeing posted in the group, someone had said, oh, my little doggy, she grabbed one of my Dollar Tree mesh rolls and she's been using it as a chew toy. And I'm thinking, oh, what about those staples? That kind of made me a little nervous. I would show you the signs, Susan, but I already wrapped up all the signs that you're getting with your kit. But I think you remember what it looks like. Actually, I can show it to you because I have mine here, but I didn't. This is my sign. Remember that. That's going to be the sign for the kit.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. That's why we have our little truck ribbon, because it matches.
Beautiful.
Thank you, my dear. I thought so too. I love her signs. I love Jane White's signs. You know what I think I'm going to do, ladies? I think I'm going to switch it up here. I'm going to, nothing too drastic, don't get nervous. I'm going to start wrapping it around just the inside bar. It's a little bit cumbersome for me with this zip tie going around 2 bars. It's like I can't seem to like get it. It's tightening for me, but I don't really like the way it looks when it's done. It's just, I think I'd rather have my zip tie just around 1 bar. So I'm going to switch that and start going around just the inside bar with my zip tie. But I think I might even just take this one out because I don't like the way. If you have pipe cleaner, you can go around 2 bars, but I think I'm just going to go around the 1. I'm pretty sure that's what I did with my 21-inch mesh when I did the patriotic poof wreath. I just went around. Now I'm sitting again. I'm just going to go around the 1. I'm going to go around the inside 1, the second from the outside. So the second bar from the outside, which is this one. You can continue going around the 2 if you want, but I'm just going to, because I'm using zip ties, I feel like it'll secure a little bit better. You can use 10-inch mesh for this. In fact, I think I did one, not this past 4th of July. I did it last year, 2017. I used 10-inch mesh for a method like this. I made my poofs. They weren't so close together, but they were pretty close together, I can remember. Did you get this striped mesh, Debbie? Is that what you're using too? She's going to kill me because I'm going to make her stop to unmute herself. Yeah, I like it better around the 1 bar. It just zip ties a little bit easier for me. Like I said, as you're going around and zip tying your poofs on, and again, it doesn't look tight over here only because there's nothing pushing against it on the other side. Once we come around, we'll put something there. It'll look like the rest. You might find that you get these pieces that are on the outside of your mesh here. Usually I try to get these off before I start working with it. There's no cut ends, so it's on the seamed end. But you can see, if you see that, try to pull it off before you even start working with it, because it's just going to annoy you like it is for me. I'm trying to find it and just snip it off. There's that long piece right there. It was sort of getting in my way. There. This is why it's important when you're doing your poofs to make sure that your seamed ends here. When I say seamed ends, I mean these. We don't have any cut ends, so there's really no cut ends to compare it to. But try to get these to tuck under, just so your poof just looks nicer when they're tucked underneath, or folded in, however you want to call it. If you want to do more than 9 per section, that's totally up to you. Obviously, if you have a bigger wreath form, if you don't have a Dollar Tree wreath form, you may have to do more than 9 per section because your wreath form is bigger. I'm still not even done with 1 roll yet. Just after you zip tie, then you can go ahead and pull your poof out and push it over. Madness, guys, I know. Once you get going, you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again here. So, not really very exciting. I apologize. Trying to count as I go along here how many I have in this section here. Let me see. Don't want to lose track of your sections here. How many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. You can just go on the back and count your little zip ties. You can see how many you have so far in your section. But that's really all it is, guys. You just make your little 8-inch poof, you zip tie it on, you squish it together. Now, as you get into the center, you know, your section isn't as big as it is out here. So you're probably going to need less when you get inside. You're not going to need 9. This poof looks a little bit bigger, so I'm going to try to pull some of it out. Looks a little tiny bit bigger than my other ones. I have another piece here. See that? It's on the outside. Sometimes you get those pieces. Now this poof looks quite a bit bigger, so I don't know how that happened. I'm just going to try to pull it out a little bit. Make it a little bit smaller. So it might be a good idea to not really tighten your zip tie up that tight until you're sure that your poof is the same size as the other ones, or pretty close in size. If it's too tight, you're not going to be able to adjust it. If it looks like it's going to take us more than the 2-hour class to get this done, what I might do is start on the inside before I finish the outside, just so you can see how it looks when you have 2 rows together. Because what you're going to do is when you do the inside, you're going to sort of like wedge them in between each other. You'll see when I do it, it makes sense. They kind of like get sandwiched in between each other, so they're not like, you know, pushing each other back. They sort of like intertwine, I guess is the right word to use. Where's my water? Excuse me. Hey, Vanya, I just saw you pop on.
Hey, Christina. Sorry I'm so late.
Don't be silly. Don't apologize. We all have lives. Life gets in the way sometimes. And that's why I record all my classes. Are you in a hurricane? Were you in an area affected by the hurricane, Vanya, or no? I don't remember where you're located. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. No, I actually live in Mobile,
And
Alabama.
where? Oh, in Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
on the Gulf Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, so we weren't affected by this one.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we had the other one come through that kind of fizzled out, so we were pretty lucky.
You know what movie I always think about when I think of Alabama? I want to hear Alabama. See if you can guess.
Sweet Home Alabama is the song, but
No. Well, it was in the movie. The song was in the movie, actually.
oh yeah, the one with Reese Witherspoon.
Well, that one too. No, but there's a scene where it's Forrest Gump. Is there
yeah.
actually a town called Greenbow, Alabama?
No,
No, that was
There's
made up
not.
for the movie. Ah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where he's dancing with Jenny to Sweet Home Alabama. That's like one of my favorite movies.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, but no, I'm not even sure what area. I know there's like a Grand Bay and there's Bala Battery. That's where all the shrimping is in Bala Battery.
Bayou Battery. Yep. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
So they do have shrimp down there. They do a lot of shrimping, huh?
Oh yeah, it's real big down here. There's a lot of Bala Battery is a whole fishing community. It's
Is that far from you?
no, not far at all. Probably about it's towards Dolphin Island. We have Dolphin Island on one side and the Gulf Shores on the other side.
Did you say Dolphin Island?
Uh-huh.
So there's dolphins there?
Probably, maybe at one time. I'm not sure.
So not anymore? I mean, I
No.
figured you called it that because there was dolphins there, but.
Right. But yeah, there's a big Coast Guard station, or used to be. They're not there anymore, but there's a big sea lab down there.
Oh,
And
nice.
on the other side of us, we have Gulf Shores and Orange Beach.
Mm-hmm. I would love to live on the water. I really would. My daughter actually, see, when you get to the end of the roll, it's going to want to fight you, but don't let it win. Just be patient. My daughter graduated college in 2014, and she actually lived down on Long Island in the Hamptons, believe it or not. Yeah, the hoity-toity Hamptons. And they're not really as fancy as everybody thinks they are. There's definitely money there, but she lived down there for 2 years, and we would go down and see her in the summer, and the ocean's just absolutely gorgeous. I really miss that. Now she's in the Rocky Mountains. Now she's in Colorado. So I guess I have to go to the mountains now to see her instead of the ocean. That's okay. Let me see how many I have in this section here. Hold on.
Tanya, I grew up in Anniston, Jacksonville, Alabama.
Is that Elaine?
Yeah.
Elaine, this is Vanya. Vanya, this is Elaine. This is her first class.
Hi, Elaine. Welcome.
Thank you.
My son actually lives in Anniston now.
Oh, does he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he works for the Ruby Tuesday there in Anniston.
Yeah, my dad was in the Army, so we kind of settled there
Oh, okay.
on Fort McClellan.
It's a pretty I like Anniston. The scenery is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm in Delaware now, but we went back in 2013 and visited some close friends of ours.
Oh, okay. Well, neat. Nice to meet you.
I always wondered why my
Delaware.
parents moved up here.
Oh,
I don't know. It might have been too small for him.
okay.
Well, I'm in Delaware now, and our whole state takes 2 hours to
I
get
was
through
going to
it.
say Delaware's pretty small.
Yeah. I was in
Okay.
Delaware for a project.
So what I did, ladies, not to interrupt your convo here, I'm sorry, is I only have 7 poofs in this second section here, but I'm at the end of my roll. So obviously this piece that's just kind of hanging here isn't going to be enough to make another poof. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip that off. I'm just going to snip it off a little bit and then just kind of tuck it into my next poof. Or you can even tuck it into the poof that's there, or you can just even leave the little piece hanging because you're not going to see it once you get the rest of your poofs on. You can just kind of tuck it underneath, zip tie it underneath so it's not in the way. It's going to want to fray like the dickens on you. So a lot of times what I do is I'll just kind of twist it around a little bit and then just zip tie it again underneath just so it's out of the way. You know, I probably should dump a bunch of these out instead of trying to fish in my bag. So I got my little lip here. I'm just going to like hide it behind here. I'm just going to kind of zip tie it somewhere I can find a spot in between the poofs or whatever, just so it's not in the way, and to get it secure so it doesn't keep fraying all over the place here. But I've got room for 2 more poofs on this section, so I'm going to have to start another row. So this was just 1 roll here. Come on. There we go. Just to get it out of the way. So it's underneath, it's tucked in there. I probably should have done the same thing with this one over here too. I'll get back to that after. Okay. So this is 7, I believe. 4, 5, 6, actually 8. So I have enough room for 1 more poof on there. So this 1 roll did almost 2 sections on this 14-inch frame, which is pretty darn good. You probably could get away with just doing 1 row. If you were going to do 1 row, though, I would do the, if you were going to do 1 row, I would actually do the 2 inside bars, and I would use pipe cleaners because I don't really like the way the zip ties wrap around 2 bars. I'd rather use pipe cleaners for that. So you probably could get away with just doing 1 row. So let's start over again. We're going to do this all over again now here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go a half a way around. What time do we have? 9 o'clock. That's been about an hour. Hey, Mimi. Because I really want to show you how the inside looks. The inside row sort of meshes with the outside row. So let's start again. Just go underneath. Actually, I don't want to go underneath. Remember, we made that mistake before. Grab a little piece, like a couple inches or so, and gather it together. You can feed this piece underneath and just go ahead and attach it somewhere. You can even go down to the bar below if you want, just to give it some place to hang on to while you're doing your poofs. Just to get it out of the way here. I'm telling you, I can't wait till I don't have to use my air conditioner anymore. It was 85 degrees today. Now we're in upstate New York, so typically by now it's, you know, fall weather. So this is going to be my last poof on this second section here. If you feel more comfortable just kind of eyeballing your poofs and you don't really want to have to measure each one, go for it. But again, I wouldn't really tighten your zip tie all the way until you're sure your poof is pretty similar to your other ones. You don't want some of your poofs to be bigger than your other ones. You want them to kind of all be the same size, and that one looks like it's a little bit bigger. I'm going to let my mesh drop to the floor so it's not in my way. Now, I'm pretty sure when I did this wreath before, when I used the 21-inch mesh, that was a really, it was a really good quality, like heavy, thick mesh, so it covered better. When you're dealing with something like a Dollar Tree mesh, you're going to want your sections or your poofs to be closer together and tighter because it just covers better. I'm just sort of zip tying this other piece down that was sticking out, this little lip, because it was kind of bugging me. There. So now it's out of the way. It's nice and flat. Okay. And I'm going to cut this off. And I just zip tied down. I'm going to cut a little bit of it off here. Now this mesh, if you cut it and tried to make spirals out of it, you'll have a mess. This striped mesh, for some reason, really frays. Dollar Tree. So I tried to do it at Easter time. They had a striped mesh at Easter time. Okay. I'm just going to continue. I think I'm going to go, like I said, about a half a way around, and I'm going to do an inside section just to show you what it looks like, because I don't think we're going to be able to finish this in class. This is kind of time consuming. It's one of those time consuming ones again, ladies. A good wreath to make while you're watching a movie or football game, if anybody watches football. I know I don't watch football, but I didn't realize that it already started, that the season already started. I had no clue. No idea until my son told me. Yeah, Mom. Football season started. Okay. Please, son. I do watch the Super Bowl, though. I like the Super Bowl because of, it's a big event and it's exciting. There's always somebody cool playing the halftime show. So I will watch the Super Bowl.
Hi, Christina. It's Mimi.
Hi, Mimi. I saw you.
I
What's
know.
up?
Just want to ask you, is this the same method as the one that we did, the patriotic one?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We just did, I'm just turning the volume up here. We just did 21-inch mesh with that one. This is the Dollar Tree mesh. And with the patriotic one, we only did one row. We're going to do 2 rows with this one. So that's the difference. Because this isn't as wide, obviously. So 1 row is not going to be enough to cover your wreath for. Now this poof is a little bit too small, so I'm just going to pull it out a little bit. See, Mimi knew. She's seen this before. See, I want to stand up for a while, and then I want to sit down. I can't decide what I want to do here. Okay. camera keeps like focusing and refocusing. Are you guys seeing that? I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe when I move. Like I said, this is a new camera, so I'm sort of like testing it out here. See that? It just did it again. Sometimes if you use pipe cleaners instead of zip ties, they don't slide as much. Zip ties tend to slide, which can be a little bit annoying. You can see that one is trying to slide away on me here. I think after I do this roll, I'm going to go on the inside and show you. Do the inside row, one of the parts of the inside row, so you can see how they look together.
You're attaching it to the first row or the second? I can't figure it out.
Well, when I started, I was going around the outer two rows, and then I didn't like the way the zip tie was holding, so now I'm just going around the second row, the second one from the outside with the zip tie. Sorry, Mimi, you got in late, so you didn't see me explaining that part. I apologize. You can use pipe cleaners if you want to, but I would just use a half a pipe cleaner. You don't need a full. You don't need a full one. No need to waste. I'm doing 8 inches. And 9 per section, Mimi. Why is my camera doing that? It's like focusing and refocusing. I'm not quite sure what it's doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like I said, just go in the back and count your little zip ties, and that's easier than trying to count your poofs or whatever's easier for you. Quiet class tonight, you guys. Everybody's focusing here. Hi, Teresa. I just saw you pop on.
I gotta tell you that I made sure I bought the mesh. I had everything on the table. Then I went to class and to grocery shopping, and I forgot that the class was tonight.
Oh, it's okay.
That's why I was late.
It's okay, honey. It happens. Did you find this mesh or at your Dollar Tree or no?
Yes, yes.
It's so pretty. And it's easy and there's no cutting. I love mesh wreaths that don't require any cutting. But there is a new method that I saw. Someone did a ruffle wreath and they cut 20-inch pieces of 10-inch mesh. And I think we did this with our witch hat, our Dollar Tree witch hat, but I didn't use 10-inch mesh. I used the Dollar Tree mesh. But you take your 20-inch mesh, excuse me, your 10-inch mesh, and cut a 20-inch piece. Hi, Connie. And then instead of ruffling the whole piece up, you take your cut ends and you fold them in together, okay, to the meet in the middle. If you follow what I'm saying. So here's your 20-inch piece like this, actually, of 10-inch mesh. So it's 20 inches long and 10 inches wide. You fold the ends together, your cut ends, you overlap them a little bit, okay? And then you ruffle it right over that fold. So you're basically closing in those cut ends. They're like gone. I thought that was really neat. It looks a little bit different than a regular ruffle. It's not going to look the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more here. But if you don't like fraying, it's definitely the method for you. I don't want to say it looks a lot different. It just looks a little bit different. But it's still very pretty. I'm not even sure who it was that I saw. I think her name was Tina. I should try to just find the YouTube link. It's very important that you make sure that your poofs are all running the same way. Mine's getting a little messed up here. I'll fix that in a minute. Probably because I'm sitting.
I really like how fast this goes.
How fast it is?
Yeah.
I wish I could say the same thing. I feel like it's going slow. Why? How far along are you? Are you beating me? You are, aren't you?
I started at 8:30.
Yeah.
I was not going to do it because I didn't have the Dollar Tree mesh, but I took my 21-inch Halloween stuff and I'm making it.
This is a great method to use with 21-inch. You don't need 2 rows though.
No,
I've done it with 21-inch. You just want to do the two center rows.
I didn't like how it pulled either, so I'm just doing one.
Yep. Yep.
I was worried because all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, it's really pulling it.
Yeah. Like I said, what I was trying to explain, make sure that you want them to be kind of flat. Make sure that they're flat against each other when you squish them together, or it's not going to look right. So after you get that zip tied on, pull it out. Don't aim for perfection, you guys. You're going to be messing with your wreath for hours, like I do. You'll never get any housework done, but who needs to do housework, right?
Right. That's not my job.
I love my sister, but she's not the best housekeeper in the world. But I'll tell you something right now. Every single weekend, she messages me on Facebook. Oh, I'm so tired. I've just been doing housework all day, housework. And I go to her house and I think, what did you clean? Not to be mean. What are you cleaning? You said you do housework all weekend. I don't really see. I know I'm so mean. I love my sister, but I don't think Mom taught us the same ways of cleaning. She doesn't really do it the way I do it, but anyway, this is my last poof for this section here. And I think what I'm going to do, even though I still have some mesh on this roll, what time is it? It's 9:30. I really want to show you how to do the inside. And I know we're not going to get this finished. It's going fast though for you though, Connie, because you're using 21-inch. It's not as
Right.
fast with the with this Dollar Tree mesh. It's gonna look very pretty when it's done. It's a little time consuming. I don't really want to cut that yet. How much do I have left? I'll just continue and I'll use the rest of this and then I'll move on to the inside. So I really want to show you how to do the inside during class. Okay. How nice and neat that looks in the back though. It's nice and neat. If you're going to be putting this on a door, let me give you a little piece of advice if you don't know this already. I got this from Dollar General, but Walmart has these too. They're just regular placemats. They're like $1. If you have a 14-inch frame, it basically fits over the back like perfectly and hides all your stuff. And a zip tie will go right through that. So if you're sending this to a customer, this isn't the best color. This is for a fall wreath that I'm doing, so it's not a really good color to use here. These are awesome. They're very thin, and they're great for covering the back of your wreath. You don't have to, you want to buy felt and cut it and everything, but this is already the right shape, so.
I lucked out and my Hobby Lobby had them for 80 cents a piece.
Nice.
I know. I was like, oh, I picked all them up.
There you go. I grabbed a bunch of Christmas mesh at my Dollar Tree the other day. They like know me there now. What are you making with that? Probably a poinsettia. Although I did a red one last year. I wanted to do a different color this year in class, but a lot of people weren't in my class last year when I did the red one. All right, I'm not going to fuss with that anymore. I'll sit and I'll be fussing with it for hours. You can fuss with it when you get everything attached. I'm just going to keep going around. I'm going to go to my next section now because I already have 9 in this one. I really just want to finish using up this roll. And then we'll go into the center. I was a little worried before class. My doggy's not feeling well. I don't know if you guys have heard me talk about my Sammy. She's 14, Pekingese Chihuahua. She's got diabetes. She's got Cushing's disease. She can't see. She lost her sight about a month after she got diagnosed with diabetes due to cataracts, and that was probably about a year and a half or so ago. And we think she's losing her hearing now. So it's hard. It's really hard. You know, she still eats and everything good. She still gets around. You know, it's just different now. You know, when you're taking care of a senior animal, it's a lot of work. But she hasn't been feeling well lately, so it's my baby. My regular babies are all grown already. I have a 27-year-old son. I have a daughter that's going to be 26. She's the one that's in Colorado. And then I have my youngest, who is just turned 24 last month.
They're about the same ages as mine.
Really?
Yeah, I have 28, 26, and 25.
There you go. I have 2 girls and a boy. What do you
That's
have?
what I have. 2 girls.
Right? Nice.
The boy's in the middle, though.
Now my boy is the oldest. He's my baby.
I have the same. I have 2 girls and a boy. 42, 39, 37.
Wow. Mine will be there soon, too.
I know. I can't believe they're that old. I'm not even that old.
Oh, what happened? When did that happen?
I
They
know.
grew up so fast. You never believe your parents when they tell you that it happens fast, but it does. They grow up fast.
I have 2 girls and a boy as well.
Uh-huh. Nice. There's a pattern
28,
here.
28, 24, and 15.
Oh my, that's a big gap.
Yes, it is.
I started when I was 26 and I was done when I was 29. I got them all done and out of the way.
Yeah, I started when I was 25 and finished when I was 28.
There you go. That's the best way to do it.
And I have 1 grandbaby that'll be 1 on Friday.
Oh, I don't have any grandbabies yet. Oh, he's he or she is coming on Friday?
No, he's going to be
Oh.
1.
Oh, he's going to be 1. I thought you said he's coming on Friday.
No.
I'm tired. I've been up since 4 o'clock, so. Oh, I can't wait to have a grandbaby.
I have 6.
Wow.
Yeah, 16 to 5.
That's nice.
I have a 16, 14, 3 10-year-olds, and a 5-year-old.
Wow. Somebody said that, you really think that you can't ever possibly feel the same kind of love that you feel for your child until you have a grandchild. And it's just something so entirely different, but so wonderful.
Yeah, it's so much better. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything hard.
Right.
Right.
Just love them, right?
Just love them and play.
Have you guys seen that new video that's kind of circulating now of the little, I don't know how old she is, if she's 1.5 or 2, but she's got a little cooking channel, a little cooking show. Have you seen that? You guys have to Google that if you haven't seen it. It is the cutest thing on the face of the planet. And obviously she's too little to do it herself. She's baking a cake. So she's got her mom off camera, like, she's saying, flour, please, sugar, please. And she's making a total mess. But it is the cutest thing ever.
My granddaughter's been cooking since she was about 2.
Oh, my gosh. I can't wait.
It was
And then
here in the apron.
she finishes it by adding sprinkles, but she basically dumps the contents of 3 entire bottles of sprinkles right on top of the cake. And she's like, bye, time to eat. She has her mother help her crack the eggs. It is just so sweet. It's so cute. Look, I'm going around the wrong wire here. You're using Halloween mesh, Connie? I'm so sorry for yawning. I apologize.
And I ran out. I mean, I'm at the end and I still have a section, so that's going to be a nice big bow there.
A bow, there you go. That's the way you do it.
This was my $4 piece from Hobby Lobby premium.
You got that for $4?
Yep. It was, I don't know why it was marked down and I
Hey,
grabbed it.
Was that like in the spring when they had those crazy markdowns?
It could have been.
Yeah, I got a bunch then too. And they had like, I got patriotic mesh then too. And I was wondering why the heck are they putting patriotic mesh on clearance in the spring when that's like coming up soon?
But it was last year's stuff, that's why.
Yeah. All right, do I have enough left here to make poof? Let me see. I'm at the end of my roll here. I think I can make one more. Yeah, I can make one more. But I'm not filling the section. I don't know how many I have. Hold on. But I really want to move to the middle and show you guys before class is over. So we're going to have like a half a wreath, if that's okay with you. And I want to show you the center. And like I said, this type of wreath, you don't really want to add a bunch of stuff, especially if it's a patterned mesh like this. This is a striped, a striped mesh. If you wanted to add ribbon tails, you can, but it's going to be done a little bit differently than you would add, like, you know how normally when you have a ruffle wreath and you have your pipe cleaners already sticking up and you put your ruffle in and then you have a little pipe cleaner sticking out and then you put your ribbon tails on top of that. Well, you don't have that here. You don't have any pipe cleaner sticking up for you to attach any ribbon to. So like I said, I'm not going to put any ribbon tails in mine because it's a patterned mesh and I just don't really want to take away from how pretty this mesh is. So, but if you have a solid color mesh, all you really need to do, I'm trying to see if I have any ribbon here that I can use for an example. Hold on, let's see. You basically just need to make your little ribbon bundle. You're not going to want to make it as long as you would on a regular wreath either, because like typically I make my ribbon bundles between 13 and 14 inches, depending on the size of my mesh. I think these are 12 inches. So if you did decide you wanted to add ribbon, just get your ribbon pieces, okay, and pinch them together in the middle. You're going to need to get a pipe cleaner and wrap it around, and then all you would do is you would just feed your pipe cleaner through to your wire, and that's how you would attach your ribbons if you wanted to attach ribbons. This definitely doesn't match, so I would never use that. But again, this type of a wreath, this method, I don't really ever see people using ribbon tails. You can add a nice bow. Like I said, I have my sign, which I thought was really cute, so it's got the candy corn on it. I'll probably just go ahead and put the sign on, and then that's it. I'll just have a very simple, maybe I'll find some little embellishments I can stick in there. All right, I don't even know how many I have on this one. Let's see, because I ran out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this section's definitely not done, but I want to just move to the middle just to show you how you would do that. And you're not going to put as many per section in your middle because your middle sections, your wires are shorter. So your wires, meaning your inside, the inside diameter here is shorter than the outside. So you're not going to need as many per section on the inside. Look how pretty that is.
That is pretty.
And it comes together when you know, as you're doing it, you're wondering, this looks really weird. How is this going to look? But you just kind of play with it when you're done. And, you know, these poofs look a lot nicer when I first started out. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but I already cut those off. So I have this piece hanging here. So again, just like I did before, I'm just going to cut it down a little bit. And then I'll go back underneath and just kind of hide it. just kind of twist it around. Just tie it off somewhere here, just so it's secured. You can go down to my second bar. I would probably do 2 rows with the 10-inch mesh too. You kind of have to see, you know, I really can't say for sure. Like I said, 21-inch mesh, you only need 1 row because it's so wide. I did do one with 10-inch mesh, like I said, a couple years ago, but I didn't do my poofs as close together. They were a little farther apart. Okay. So this section's not done. I have 4 more pieces I have to put into here, but I just want to go to the middle quick and just show you how you would do that. I'm so sorry for my gross table. I can't wait to get my new table. So let's get another roll.
So Christina, does this look like it should?
Let me get this, let me make you bigger so I can see. That's really pretty mesh. Yes, I like that a lot. You're going around the 2 middle wires?
Actually, I put it in on the outside, second one from the outside. I did, it's the middle one, but towards the outside of the ring, not the inside of the ring.
Okay, so did you use zip ties or pipe cleaners?
Zip ties.
Okay. And that's 21-inch mesh?
Yep.
Where did you run short? I'm trying to see. That's really pretty mesh.
I filled it in.
Oh, you filled it in?
Right here.
Yeah, because I can kind of see the wire a little bit, the inside
That's
wire.
where I
That was really pretty.
Yeah, that's where I started, was right there.
That's
I
really
figured
pretty.
a good bow.
Do
I
a
don't know
bow.
what
You got a
kind of
sign
bow.
you can put in the middle?
Huh?
You have a sign you can put in the middle?
No, I'll have to go buy one.
I really
I don't
like
know.
that mesh.
Sign person. I got a, no, I don't.
You have a what?
Nope, I have a flamingo, a mermazing, and a welcome sign, and a dreams are made of sun. No Halloween signs. Although, I have to get it out. I do machine embroidery. And I have
I've been seeing a lot of stuff made with machine embroidery lately. I never knew that even existed. That's really pretty stuff.
I have a splat witch. So it's just the back end.
Real quick, I'm sorry, Kat. You see what I'm doing here? Real quick, I'm sorry, you guys.
Oh.
If you find this coming off of your roll, take it off before. Sorry about that, Connie.
Right.
So you have what now? You were holding your hands out like you caught a big fish. What was
So
that?
the flat witch looks like this.
Oh, the witch?
Yeah, and her legs
Oh.
are out, her arms are out. She might look good in here.
Yeah.
It's freestanding lace.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what that looks like.
All right, you guys, we're going to cheat here, and I'm going to go start on the inside now because I want to show you how it looks when you do the inside. Now, like I said, this piece is kind of sticking out only because there's nothing next to it. Like when I do that section, this is going to be pushed in too. So just pretend that you don't see that. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do the second from the inside wire. Okay. Now, like I said, when I started, I was wrapping around. And look at it, it bent my wire too. Look how it did that. When I was wrapping around the 2, it totally like bent my wire. There's your Dollar Tree wreath frame for you. So, and then I switched and just started going around the second from the outside. So that one's a little messed up. Don't look at that one. Just because the zip ties seem to hold better for me. Going around the 1 wire instead of 2. Okay. So let's go ahead and do our little thing again, 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. Why does my camera keep refocusing? Don't look at my mess on the floor here. So let's tie this off again. Again, we're going to go on the inside, the second from the inside bar. I may have to look in the settings for my camera. I'm not quite sure why it keeps refocusing. I thought I'm going to have a new camera. I'm not going to have any issues. Nothing's ever easy.
It's probably trying to focus to show your sister what a house cleaner you are.
Not right now. You don't want to see my craft room when I'm done. I hate to be mean. That was so mean of me to say that, but she just...
Mine's the same way.
Ugh.
Well, I have 2 other sisters also, and we all clean differently.
Well, I'm, you know what? I'm not going to say anything else because I could say something, but I'm not going to say anything else. I can't do that to my sister. Just like I could give you an example of something that she does, but I can't. She's not here to defend herself, so. And it's kind of like, she's my older sister. She's 9 years older than me. And she's of the mindset that I know absolutely nothing about anything at all. So she refuses to take any sort of advice or critique or anything like that from me. And it's almost like she doesn't hear me. Like she pretends that she didn't hear me or something. It's really weird. So I don't even bother anymore. Or she'll just avoid it altogether and change the subject. Okay. So again, this inside section's not going to take as many. Hold on, I did it again. Oh no, I gotta be on the outside. I gotta not be on the inside. See, I'm getting tired, you guys. I'm just gonna pull it around.
Do you do that the same way, Christina?
What's that?
You attach it the same way?
Yeah, you do, but I should have attached it to the top and not the bottom because now my oh, wait a minute, let me do this. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it around this way. No, because the wire is there. I didn't want to attach to the bottom. I wanted to attach to the top, and I messed up. But you're going to do it the same way, yes. Oh, poo. It's not going to work. See what happens when I start chatting? I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, and I'll show you in a second. I didn't want to attach to the bottom. I wanted to attach to the top.
This is my witch.
Hold on a second, Tanya. I got a mess.
I will. I just thought the other girls could see it.
I'll hold it up. Let me see it.
You ready?
Yeah, hold on. Oh, I like that. Oh, it's like the ones that are smashed against a tree.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And it's all thread.
Oh, there, I unmuted myself. There we go. No, that's really cute. I like that there.
That's probably how it's going to be decorated.
Let's start over again here because I messed up. You want to attach this like underneath, but from the top, not from the bottom. That's how I screwed up. I think I flipped it over so I could show you. Just go ahead and push your little tail through, but make sure that the rest of your roll of your mesh is on the top, not on the bottom, like I did. And you can flip it over. There. Good thing zip ties are inexpensive. unless you go to Lowe's and you pay $4 for a pack of 100 because Walmart is out instead of $1.27. I don't really like the zip ties from the Dollar Tree. First of all, because they're longer and they're really thick. They're kind of hard to work with, in my opinion. I like these little 4-inch ones. Okay.
I bought 4-inch and 6-inch off eBay.
Uh-huh.
1,000 in each packet. It cost me $9 for 2 packs.
How much?
$9.
Wow. So you got 2,000 for $9?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Look how huge.
I love eBay too. I gotta check that out.
Somebody had put on where you could actually get colored ones, and they weren't too bad either. They were.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yep. Yes, we're just going to do the same thing. Again, if you just want to eyeball it and you don't want to have to measure each of your poofs. Trying to get my mesh out of the way here. It's kind of bugging me. Let it fall to the floor. So it's going to seem a little bit challenging because you've already got this. You've already got this one row here, and it's sort of kind of in the way. But again, just go ahead to your second bar here. I'm not sure if you can see me. I'm just doing the same thing I did on the outside. Sort of pulling it because I didn't really get an 8-inch piece here, an 8-inch poof. I tried to. But as you are adding these, you're just going to kind of like wedge them in between the ones that are already there. This one looks a little bit small. I don't think I'm going to be able to really measure. It's too difficult to try to measure on the inside. It's going to kind of have to try to eyeball it. So take your time. It may be a little frustrating because you know how mesh likes to stick together. But just take your time going around that inside, second bar from the outside, or the inside, I apologize. And if you want to wait until you're done with your section, just sort of feed them together. You're going to, like I said, you're going to take the poof that you just added to that inside row, and you're going to kind of sandwich it in between the outside ones. See that? So they're like going in inside of each other. Not all the way, just up a little bit, maybe like a quarter of the way or halfway or a third, or you know, whatever you think looks good. So I have 2 in there so far. I have 1 there and I have 1 there. But that's the look that you're going to be going for the inside. That kind of, you don't have to worry about that because you've got 21-inch mesh. And if you use 21-inch mesh, that's fine, but you're only going to need to do 1 row. Unless you want to do 2, you'll have a pretty big wreath. Like I said, I'm just kind of eyeballing my size right now. It's too hard to get my measuring mat in there. If you want to zip tie it and not zip tie it really tight, so that way when you start to poof it out and fix it, and if it's a little too small or it's a little too big, you'll be able to have a little wiggle room to move it around and adjust it. and then you can tighten your zip tie. Just kind of go in between. I'm trying to see how many I'm going to need in my section here. So you're not going to probably need 9 because it's a smaller. See how it's like sticking together? It's going to make you crazy. So just take your time.
And you're not, are you still doing 9 sections or less?
I probably will be doing less. Yeah, that's what I just said, because it's a smaller, it's smaller when you get to the inside. I may not be able to fit 9. I may do 7 or 8. I got to see.
Okay.
As soon as I know, I'll let you know. Hold on a second here. Did I skip a section already? Hold on. I think I did. I jumped over. I didn't even realize it. Hold on here. Because it's easy to kind of get lost in here. You have to pay attention to where you are. And I did. I skipped over a section without realizing it. So I think I'm probably only going to need 4. Hold on. Bear with me here. When I flipped it over, I realized I had jumped the crossbar. There's that one. All right, so I'm going to move this over. I'm going to stick this one in here. Again, not all the way, just wedge it up in there a little bit, just so they kind of blend together. Looks nice. What do I have here now? And I want to run the bottom bar. You see how easy it is to get screwed up when you get to the inside? The second bar here. So if I wasn't in a live class right now, I probably would like walk away for a little while, because sometimes you kind of got to do that. You got to take a little break. There was a wreath I did last year. It was a, no, I don't think it was last year. I think it was in the spring, like maybe right after Christmas. It was a felt wreath. It was a red felt wreath. That was the most time-consuming wreath I've ever done in my life. You had to cut little felt circles, and I had a cutter. I had a fabric cutter, but it just still with all the little folding of the pieces of the felt, and that wasn't a live class. I think I did a tutorial on that one, but it was so time consuming, and I had to walk away several times. All right, let me see what we have here. Cut these off. So I think I'm really only going to need probably, I have 4 on here. I think I'm just going to do 5 on the inside. So quite a bit less. Again, whatever you like. If you feel like you want more, you want it to be a little tighter, but it seems like I'm right at the edge here, and 5 is going to be my limit. You don't want it to be too squishy. You don't, you still want to be able to see. Now look at that. See? I hate that. And that's not a fray that I just pulled off. That's just the extra piece that sometimes is on the stitched edge of your mesh. That's even on your better quality meshes too. I've pulled those off. Oh, I'm going around the outside one again. I want the inside. Second from the outside bar. Let's try this again. If things get a little crazy while you're making it, just know that when you stop, you can fluff everything and make it look pretty. Most important thing as you're going along is just try to make sure that your poofs are pretty similar in size. You don't want to get done and find out that some of your poofs are 10 times bigger than your other ones, and that it just doesn't look right. All right, so I'm taking this one that I just put on, and I'm moving in this one over on the top and wedging it in between the other two. So you kind of go in between every other, not every other one, but every poof with the one underneath, with the one at the bottom, I should say. And that kind of works out, because if you have 9 on the top and you have 5 on the bottom, you know, you're going in between every one on the top with your one on the bottom. Yeah, I don't know why my camera keeps refocusing. I'm gonna have to try to fix that. So that's how it's gonna look. I have to kind of fluff it a little bit and play with it, but they're just kind of wedged in between each other, just like that. Oh my gosh, is it 10 o'clock? It is 10 o'clock. Guys, I'm tired. I'm going to stop. I'm sorry. But do you get what I'm doing here? So the top section, you're going to do 9 8-inch poofs per section, okay? When you go to, you're going to be using this bar here, so the second from the inside, okay? You're going to do 5. You're just going to take that piece and go in between each one on the top, sort of like halfway up. Just kind of wedge it in there. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense, because I'm tired. Did I lose Susan? You're still here, Susan? Susan's usually sleeping by now, like me, because we're old. I'm sorry we couldn't finish, you guys. Sometimes you get these wreaths and they're a little bit time consuming and we can't finish in the live class, but and again, all I'm going to do is with mine is I'm just going to put my sign on when I get done, my little trick-or-treat sign in the middle. Mine's going to be pretty simple. It's not going to be really fancy. And that's it. Does anybody have any questions at all, or anybody confused? No? Yes? Everybody fall asleep?
Hey, Christina, this is Vanya.
Hi, Vanya.
Hey, I was late getting on. So can you do this with 10-inch mesh?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And you do the same thing?
And I actually, I'm trying to remember if I did 2 rows when I did it with 10-inch or if I just did 1. I'm pretty sure I did 2. Yeah,
Okay.
your wreath is just going to be a little bit bigger. It'll work fine. And you can use 21-inch mesh as well. So,
Oh, really?
yes.
And do it on the center
I did have a class I did earlier this year, and that's what Connie just did. I don't know if Connie left. Connie's still here. She just used 21-inch mesh for hers. But you're only going to want to do the 2 center rows. If you
2 center rows with 21-inch. Oh, wow. Okay.
The 2 center rows. If you look in the past classes, Vanya,
Yes,
look for the patriotic poof wreath.
Okay. Okay.
We did this exact thing, and I can even send you a copy of that one if you want.
Oh, that'd be great.
It's this exact method, but using 21-inch mesh.
Okay. Because I got a lot of 21, so that's what I'll do.
Yeah, you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it.
Well, good. Okay. Well, thank you.
Send me a message and remind me so I can send that to you, okay? Send me a PM.
Okay. Will
Okay,
do.
honey?
All
All
right,
right, you
thank
guys,
you.
I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna finish this up probably tomorrow morning and then post a picture for everybody. All righty?
Okay, good night.
Good night, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here, Elaine. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And you will get the video. Everybody gets a copy of the video. Good night, guys. Thank you.
Good night, Christine. Thank you.
Good night.